This is Inside Troy Athletics, a look at what's going on and what's coming up for Troy University's Trojans. Now, here's your host for Inside Troy Athletics, Jonathan Sellers.
Hello and welcome to Inside Troy Athletics. I'm your host, Jonathan Sellers, and I'm joined today by the Director of Athletics for Troy University, that's Jeremy McClain. And Jeremy, another busy weekend on campus with the football teams getting a little scrimmage underway, baseball team here at home, and there's plenty of other activities happening. But first off, the baseball team, big series at home against Louisiana Lafayette. Didn't quite go how they wanted, losing 2 out of 3, but a big win on Saturday, and Austin Crook looked very good in that one.
Yeah, he really did. It was a great weekend. We were a little worried about the weather,
Right.
You never know how that's going to play out this time of year, but it ended up being a beautiful weekend and all the way around. And on the baseball front, tough weekend with Lafayette coming in, and always tough competition. They're ranked 15th in the country and a very competitive, tough team. Friday night lost a close one,
Right.
And had a chance to win that one, and they scored a couple runs late to come back and get that victory, but then bounced back on Saturday, like you said. Austin Crook threw phenomenal. He was really good. Was really kind of in the zone,
Right.
as from a on the mound perspective, and really limited what they did. I think he gave up a couple of what we would call cheap runs in the first inning,
Right.
and really beyond that, really kind of did what he wanted to. It was fun to watch.
And speaking of fun to watch, there was, I believe, 1,700 or so fans there on that Friday night game, which I believe they said was a Sun Belt record for Riddle Pace Field. So a lot of people watched in person, but then also a lot of people watched on Facebook. You tried something new with airing the game on Facebook Live. So a little something different y'all are trying to do just to mix things up and use technology you have.
Yeah, exactly. And like those two things kind of go hand in hand. I think Friday and Saturday we had two of the largest crowds we've ever had for Sun Belt competition, and so that's a great step in the right direction for us. And the Facebook Live aspect is a great opportunity to maybe reach out to some people who aren't at the park, obviously,
Right.
but who may not have seen us play, and it may be an opportunity to encourage them to come
Right.
later on in the year. So great opportunity for us to do that, to reach out and put some new eyeballs on Troy baseball, but also really kind of a test run for us. We'll be releasing soon our schedule for the rest of the season as far as ESPN3 is concerned. We started that during the fall with volleyball and carried it over into basketball, and so we've had to make that transition to our baseball facility, and have been able to do that. It's taken a little bit of time just to get everything up and running the way we want it to. So Friday night was a good test from just a broadcast standpoint of what that's going to look like, and so we'll transition to ESPN3 and do many of our games, our home games, from here on out on ESPN3. So I'd ask people to keep an eye out for that schedule.
Okay. And baseball team will travel to UT Arlington this weekend. Always a tough swing. They do get to fly out there, so that'll make things a little bit easier, but always a tough schedule. And then next week, 2-game series against Alabama, at home on Tuesday and then on the road on Wednesday. But that Tuesday night game, always a big crowd at Riddle Pace Field.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, tough weekend going out to UTA. There's just a tough club to play, and especially at their place. So will be a big challenge, but then a lot of fun next week with Alabama in here, and we expect a great crowd. We always have a good crowd for that one. It's a great opportunity for us to play an in-state foe and an SEC opponent, obviously, and they're a little bit in a transition. They've got a new coaching staff there, and but seem to have been playing well as of late, and so it should be a really tough task for us, especially playing on back-to-back days like we're going to on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Softball team went up to Coastal Carolina, several close games, but on the losing side, and that's always tough. But again, the Sun Belt is just really tough in softball.
Yeah, really, it's been it's been interesting from a standing standpoint and how that's kind of played out. It's South Alabama, who's one of the I'd say perennial powers in our conference in softball. I think it's maybe 2-7 in the conference. So, and I think they've got a really good team. It's just that just shows you a little glimpse of kind of the way it's gone to this point. So we lost, I think, 3 one-run games, if I'm not mistaken, and all of them I think we had a lead at some point. So it was just a matter of you were just very close and very competitive against a really good Coastal Carolina team on the road, and so they'll just Coach Mullins, I know, will continue to fight, and that group will continue to fight and work through that, and we've been very, very competitive all year. Just need to break through on some of those close games.
And they'll be back at home this weekend, right?
Right. They'll take on the UT Arlington here at home, and 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. A great opportunity to see them compete again, and I know they'll be glad to be back home, and playing on our turf and a chance to bounce back from a conference standing standpoint.
And golf is in action. I know the women are playing right now as you speak. The men will be going to Vanderbilt pretty soon as they're wrapping up their regular season, getting ready for conference tournament.
That's right, and so women kind of started their schedule a little bit later this year, and like you said, are finishing up a tournament right now. And the men are wrapping up their regular season. Really have had a lot of success. Have beaten a lot of really good teams. So both of those teams are preparing for postseason run, conference play, and then hopefully for both of them an opportunity to play in the regionals as well.
And I know our track team, they've been doing well. They were at Sanford over the weekend, continue to get a lot of personal best and get a lot of first place finishes up there, and they're going to face some tougher competition as the season goes along.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of growth from them. Coach Davis really been working hard, and like you said, I think the last couple of weekends have really been positive meets, and I know confidence booster from a lot of standpoints. I've seen a lot of great performances, and so as our roster's kind of grown up and matured a little bit, and that we've seen some of that, and hope to continue to see that as they prepare to compete every time out, compete at the highest level. And that's the real challenge is, the consistency aspect of that for any athlete. And so I know Coach Davis is working very hard to get them to that point.
Now, I know football is right in the mix of spring practice. They got a scrimmage this Friday. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, so this Friday night we'll have basically a student-based scrimmage. You'll see some information around campus. That's going to start at 4 o'clock on Friday, and we'll bring students in and get them involved, and we'll do some stuff with them on the field and make it fun, and let them connect with our team a little bit in preparation for next year. And really as a thank you too, that this past season they were phenomenal. Our students I was blown away by the response we got from them, and so we're looking for that obviously next year as well. And it's a great opportunity to connect with our students and have them out there, like I said, get them involved with what we're doing.
And there's still a few more things on the horizon for football team. I know T-Day is April 15th, but there's another scrimmage before that.
So the following weekend, the 8th of April, we'll have a scrimmage as well, and we'll also have a big weekend series in baseball with Georgia Southern. So it should be a big weekend for us in a lot of ways. We'll be promoting a lot of things that will be happening that weekend. It's also alumni weekend for our football team. And so they bring a lot of our former players back, and we have a get together and feed them and socialize. But then get our former players in front of our current players too, and let them talk to them about what it means to be a Trojan and the things that are important to them, which has been very successful, and I think from a mentor standpoint has gone really well.
Well, we've got a newly retired player that has a great chance to come out, DeMarcus Ware. No, but I know we mentioned T-Day, that's April 15th. Also that night is the Hall of Fame banquet, which we have mentioned. A couple of former players going to be inducted into that, as well as other greats from Troy past.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Like you said, T-Day will happen earlier that day. We'll schedule for a noon kick for that scrimmage. We've got softball at 2 o'clock that day, and then we'll have that evening our Hall of Fame banquet. Great group going in. I'd encourage people to purchase a table or an individual ticket. You can purchase those by calling the athletic department and making your reservation. So going to be a great event on April 15th.
And one other thing about football is season ticket renewals have come out. So if you've got past season tickets, you can go ahead and renew those, or if you're looking to buy, you can go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan. It's now's the time. Now's the time to go ahead and lock those in, get the seats you want, all the things that we obviously have the renewal process going on, but we'll be tickets are available. You can go online and do that now, or you can call the office, obviously, a ticket office, and make those arrangements. But we encourage everyone who has an opportunity to renew first to do that, and go ahead and get those seats locked in. And then those who may be thinking about it, we encourage them to go ahead and pull the trigger.
Another great home schedule ahead, and know a good road schedule as well. And those tickets will be able to purchase pretty soon too. So I know a lot to look forward to up in the coming months.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, stay tuned for more coming up on Inside Troy Athletics. And welcome back to Inside Troy Athletics, and we're here with the head coach of the baseball team, Coach Mark Smart, to talk about Troy baseball. And Coach, a tough weekend for your team. Faced a good Louisiana Lafayette squad and lost 2 out of 3. You had a chance to win 2 out of 3, win the series, but just came up on the losing side in that Friday night game. And what are your thoughts on the weekend?
Well, the Friday night game was the most disappointing game of the weekend, Jonathan, for me. We had every opportunity to win the game. We got behind early to a really good pitcher. Our kids responded with a big 4-run rally to tie the game right away after they scored 4. Took the lead the very next inning, and then we tried to hang on for dear life, and we didn't execute late in that game, and they scored a run in the 8th to tie us on a kind of a weird play, really. When you go back and watch it live, it was odd. The ball was hit toward our second baseman, and it looked like he went the wrong direction. Right. And live, it was very strange. Like, what just happened? How did he go the wrong way? Well, we went back and actually had to look at it about 12, 13 different times. The ball actually hit the dirt corner of the mound and shot the other way. Wow. So he lost track of the ball for a reason. That tied the game. And then in the 9th, we walked a guy, and they moved him over, and they got a 2-out hit. So they executed, we didn't, and that was a tough one to bounce back from. Saturday, Austin Crook was the story of the weekend for us. He struck out 14. He was incredibly good. He handcuffed them for 8 2/3 innings. We ended up having a solid win. And then Sunday, they just played better than we did. And that happens in baseball. They were ready to go. They attacked us early. They scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second. We never really mounted a rally until late in that game. So they get credit for the Sunday game. I felt like our lack of execution led to a Friday night loss when we had every chance to win. Games are very tight at this level. You know, there's a thin margin of error on either side, and unfortunately for us, particularly at home, which really bothers me, we lost 2 out of 3 to a good Lafayette team.
Well, back to Austin Crook for a minute. I mean, he's a guy that beginning of the year didn't start in that first weekend series, but now he's battled his way to being a weekend starter. And just tell us about him and what he's done so far.
Well, his first outing of the year was a midweek start. He was terrific at UAB, right. And that we bumped him to the second time was a weekend opportunity. We had a 4-game series, and he was good again. And then we moved him into the weekend rotation against Little Rock, and he was terrific. So he's 4 for 4, right. And therefore he's 4-0. He's pitched really well. We've played well behind him. He's a contact pitcher typically, but yet he struck out 14 on Saturday against Lafayette. They just couldn't figure him out. He kept baffling them with, he's got a great changeup, left-hander. Doesn't throw terribly hard, but he's got good command of the ball. But most importantly to me, Jonathan, and what gives him a chance to have success, got tremendous poise. Nothing seems to get him out of his sink. Right. And you got to be tough. You got to be able to deal with things. He's done that so far, and I certainly hope it continues. Right. He's in an important role. That Saturday starter is maybe the most pivotal guy in your rotation, because you have to determine on Friday, win or lose. The Saturday game's a swing game, right. Win or lose. Right. And in this particular case, it became a must-win after the loss on Friday, and boy, was he terrific.
Right. And this week, you kind of got an off week until this weekend, and then you got a good little road trip out to Texas Arlington, and what do you know about them?
Well, we scheduled this somewhat intentional. We fly to Arlington. It's too long of a bus trip, so when you fly, it kind of takes a full day away from you. So we felt like playing on Tuesday and then having to disrupt on a Thursday. We just put Tuesday away so we can regroup, get prepared for a long trip. Arlington is a club that we have not had a lot of success with yet. This is their 4th year in the Sun Belt Conference. We've yet to win a series from them, twice in Troy, once in Arlington. So overall, they've had our number, and our team's aware of that. They're the kind of team, Jonathan, that the way I describe their team in a positive way is they're hard to beat. They don't beat themselves. Right. They're hard to beat. You have to play well to beat them. You can't make mistakes. They typically don't help you. So when that's the scenario, you can't walk guys. You can't make errors. You got to put the ball in play. The interesting thing about their team this year, they have not played well at home. They're 3-9 at home, which is very odd at this level. They're 7-3 on the road. I hope that continues through the weekend at least for Troy's sake. So it'll be interesting to see how they look at home, whether they look lack of confidence or not, but they have not played well at home up to this point.
Well, and just looking a little bit ahead, next week is always a big series for the Troy fans. You're going to play Alabama at home on Tuesday and then travel to Tuscaloosa on Wednesday for kind of a 2-game series, a makeup game for that Wednesday game.
It's a good setup, really, the 2-game format. We did it last week at Sanford off a rain out, and we split those 2 games, won here and lost there. But it's a familiarity back to back. I think it helps both teams, and it's a fair fight. We're in the same place they are pitching wise and all that.
Right.
So obviously it'll be a return home Tuesday night game against Alabama after a weekend road trip. It's always good to get back home, and I know our fans will be excited to host Alabama. We always draw very well that particular night, so I look for a great crowd, and hopefully it'll be a great night of baseball. And then we load up and go to Tuscaloosa that next night, and hopefully it'll be a chance to win the series. We certainly hope so. That's a beautiful place to play now. Their remodeled stadium is first class, and we went up there last year. So I look forward to going there. And then we finish up that little stretch with a home series against Georgia Southern. So we've got our next 8 games, 4 on the road, 4 at home on the weekend type scenarios, road and then home. We've got to take advantage of being at home next week, 4 of those 5 games, and hopefully our team can do that.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck on this swing, and safe travels to Arlington.
Thank you very much.
All right, stay tuned for more coming up on Inside Troy Athletics. And welcome back to Inside Troy Athletics, and we're here with Coach Mark Davis of the track and field program, and he's the director of that program. And Coach, big weekend for your team last weekend as they headed to Sanford, and another good meet for your race runners and your athletes.
Absolutely, we were excited about how they competed. This is one of the first times where I could say we brought a complete package to the table. They went out, they competed, they did well against, South is always a biggie for us, to go out there and try to beat them because they've been very, very good in the league.
Right.
We did well against Sanford, UAB. So, we did some good things out there on the men's and women's side. We're excited.
Well, now this weekend, competition's going to get a little bit tougher as you head down to Florida to run down there. I know it's a 3-day meet, and things will get started on Thursday for your team. So what are you looking for down there?
Looking for fast times and just good performances. Whenever you go to a meet like this, you're going to have some of the best again in the country, and there'll be some of the best competitors in the world at this meet as well. It's a big open invitational. It's got college sections, it's got open sections, it's got Olympic development sections. So we will be seeing a lot of things, which will be great for us. A lot of good experience. You're going down there to really run fast, though, and jump far and throw far. That's what we're really trying to do, get them some very good performances.
Will this be a whole team effort where you're going to take everybody down there?
Well, you have to qualify to get into this one.
Okay.
So not everybody got in. Everybody else that didn't get in will be here practicing. We're taking, I think, a team of 29 kids with us. So, we're going to get some good work in.
All right, and then the following weekend, you're going to kind of have a split squad. Some of your team's going to be going to Auburn, some of them go to East Carolina, really getting things ready for the Sun Belt meet. And what are you looking for out of those 2 meets?
The kids that are going to Auburn, we're sending them there just to go and get some good times, get some more racing experience. The kids we're taking to East Carolina, a lot of them are going to be on our Sun Belt roster. And we're taking them to East Carolina so that they get used to scored meets again. And with track and field, there's a lot of invitational settings. And, when you get a chance to go to a scored meet where there's going to be a conference foe, when there's going to be teams that, maybe a little bit better than you on paper, it gets you out there and competing and stepping up at the right times and scoring points.
Well, I know right now you're really trying to kind of push your team as you get closer to that Sun Belt meet. Are you hoping they're peaking right now, or are you waiting for that till the very end?
Absolutely not. I'm hoping they're not peaking right now. The kids, surprisingly enough, right now at this point in the year, a lot of kids are at their PRs, and some of them are even better and have run personal best for the year. I actually went back the other day. I keep joking with the kids, and they think I'm kidding. I'm being dead serious. I've gone back, looked at training logs just to make sure I haven't changed anything up too much from the years before.
Right.
And there's not a lot of changes. There's some subtle changes, but the kids are running quite a bit faster than what they have, and it's a good sign. It means there's a lot of good things to come.
Right. And do you still think there's more left in the tank for the rest of the year?
There better be, but absolutely, absolutely.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck this weekend down in Florida.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, stay tuned for more coming up on Inside Troy Athletics. Well, welcome back to our final segment here on Inside Troy Athletics. And normally we talk to coaches here on this show, but today we're going to talk to one of the athletes, and that's golfer Cam Norman. And Cam, welcome to our show. And Cam, y'all have been well into the spring. You've actually only got one more regular season tournament left. So far, I know a lot of expectations for this team, but what do you think about the play so far?
Well, we actually we had one of our worst tournaments the first tournament of the spring. Like really bad. It moved our ranking down somewhere we didn't want it to be, And so we've had three tournaments this March already, and then we have another one. So it would be 4 tournaments in 1 month, which is a lot. And I think we kind of answered that bad play and had 3 good tournaments in a row, kind of get our ranking back to where we wanted it to be. So
And last tournament, Kennesaw State,
Right.
And you played pretty well there. You've done well. You played it in the second or third spot on your team each time. What has it been like to play in that higher spot and play well?
It's been really good. Like after last year, we have virtually the same 5 guys.
Right.
After last year, I kind of felt like I was our steady 5 guy, so I took it the off season like a challenge myself to improve and help the team out, and I feel like I've been able to do that so far and hopefully keep it going.
And right now, I mean, y'all aren't ranked where you necessarily want to be, but y'all are beating a lot of teams that are ranked higher than y'all. So eventually, you keep doing that, you're going to move higher.
Right.
Is that y'all's goal each week? You see the list of teams that are on there, and you try to beat them each time?
Yeah, we kind of pick out the big dogs, and if you get a win against them, usually you're going to beat most of the field in the tournament if you're beating those guys. So we're trying to beat them and pick up wins against them and help our ranking towards getting that regional bid.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, last week at Kennesaw, you got a ace. Am I right?
I did. I think second round, 17th hole.
And what was that like?
It was pretty cool. I've had a few hole-in-ones, but this was my first one in a college tournament, so this one's definitely been the most special, and got to celebrate it with my teammates. So.
You get to keep the ball, and you got the scorecard and
Yeah, they
everything?
gave me the scorecard back, and I haven't done anything with it yet, but I got to get it framed and stuff like that.
Now, you've got one more regular season tournament left, as we said. That's in Vanderbilt. What do you know about that tournament and the course?
Well, we played our regional site at the same course last year. We had, I think it was the north course, and then this time we're playing the south course. So the conditions should be about the same. It's a really nice course, and we didn't play this particular tournament, so I'm not too sure about the field. But I know Vanderbilt's hosting it, and they're ranked 3rd in the country, so it's going to be a strong field, and it's a chance to pick up a win against them at maybe their home course.
And then after that, you've got a little bit of a break before the Sun Belt tournament. So what will y'all be doing in that little bit of a layoff?
I'd say the first week we might take it kind of just low and relax and get our legs back under us and everything, and then just really start grinding and preparing. Since we won it last year, we kind of know the things we have to do to get our minds ready for it.
And, I mean, the Sun Belt tournament, that's probably y'all's goal to get there and compete at a high level there, hopefully win the championship again.
Right.
Are there any goals past that?
We really felt like we had a good chance to make the nationals after regionals last year, and we didn't play well at the regional tournament. So, and with us having 4 seniors on the team, we know this is kind of our last go at it. So we really want to make it to nationals and get past regionals.
All right, Cam. Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, join us again next week for more here on Inside Troy Athletics.